Welcome once again back to the lab. It is your old Professor Pilk, and of course we need to talk today about the Iron Leaves raid. Now we talked yesterday about Walking Wake. If you didn't check out that video, make sure you guys go check that out. But specifically, we need to talk about Iron Leaves and what Iron Leaves does, and how to kind of take this this particular event on. Now, first things first, these are 5-star raids. These are not 7-star raids. These are not incredibly difficult raids. That said, you do still want to go into level 100 Pokemon because that's going to make this insanely easy. Just honestly next level. So, basically to kick this off, Iron Leaves is going to have at his disposal Psyblade, Leaf Blade, Mega Horn. Well, Psyblade a Psychic move, Leaf Blade a Grass move, Mega Horn a Bug move, and Swords Dance to basically buff those moves up, and he can do Swords Dance at any point in time. I don't know why he has Electric Terrain when... Well, actually, I take it back. I do know why he has Electric Terrain. Because with his ability, he should be dropping it all the time anyway. But nevertheless, if the terrain does change, he's got Electric Terrain that he can just drop whenever he needs to. Now, he will have a Psychic Tera, so you really do want to treat him like a pure Psychic Pokemon. And we'll kind of cover that here in a moment. Now, mainly what's going to happen here is the Electric Terrain drops at the beginning, and he's going to use Psyblade several times during this fight. Psyblade is a single target attack, so it may or may not hit you. Most of my Pokemon that I'm going to talk about here today resist it, or at least aren't that heavily affected by it, so it's really not going to be that big of a deal either way. Now, at 50% HP or time remaining, depending on whichever comes first, that Iron Leaves will reset all of his own stats. So basically everything will go back to just, whatever base there was, or whatever buffs he already has will remain. Essentially, you just won't be able to debuff him, or any debuffs you have applied at that point will basically be unapplied. So do bear that in mind. Now, once again, he's at level 75 Pokemon. If you go in there with level 100, you won't have too many problems. Now, the nice part is he will reset your stats at 25%. Most of my Pokemon will never be inflicted by that. You will wipe him out before you ever get to that point. So don't worry about that too much. Now, we do need to talk about builds that can take him down. And we're going to start off over here with Greninja. I absolutely adore Greninja. One of my favorite Pokemon. Unfortunately, I did kind of mess up the EVs over here, I realize. I'm sorry, the IVs over here. Greninja has a little higher special attack, but he's got really, really, really high physical attack. He just doesn't have very good defense. So that said, you can kind of get away with a really rock solid physical build over here with an Adamant Mint. I like having, you could do a Dark Tera on him, but personally, I just think he's defensively a little bit better with a Stellar Tera. Because remember, a Stellar Tera is basically be like a mix between Dark and Water, just kind of like his base defense stat is going to be. Ability Protein isn't going to be of a huge factor here, but it will help out a little bit. And the Shell Bell item is essentially to just heal, and in fact, all of the Pokemon in today's build are going to basically be using that same item. Now, move-wise, I open up with Taunt, and I keep Taunt on basically as long as he doesn't have his shield up. Because remember, Taunt for the next 5 turns will prevent him from doing Swords Dance. So long as you keep Taunt in play, he will not be doing Swords Dance. The downside is as soon as he puts up his shield, he can do that. But he only does it at 50%, and by that point you should be terastallized. You shouldn't have a problem with that. It's just one thing you can do to make sure you don't take excess damage. I also included Smokescreen there at the bottom. Smokescreen is not a guaranteed defensive buff or anything like that. Basically, it just means he's going to miss often enough to matter. One miss can be critical in this particular situation. Now, Greninja's all about offense, and most of the Pokemon we talk today are going to be predominantly offense. You don't need to go crazy. Just a level 100 Greninja, get out 2 Swords Dances, and then Night Slash your way to victory. You will be just fine. It's a real easy build. It's kind of a no-brainer. My one recommendation would be Taunt right out of the gate, do 3 Night Slashes, get to the point you could Terastallize, then start doing your Swords Dances and potentially Smoke Screens. You don't want to You want to be able to Terastallize before you Sword Stance just to make sure that you can wipe him out kind of before his barrier goes up. Like, you don't want his barrier to go up too early. If you Sword Stance right out of the gate, you might have some problems with the barrier going up too early. So taunt, maybe drop a smoke screen. I honestly say taunt, 3 Night Slashes, smoke screen, 2 Sword Stances, and just Night Slash way to victory. And I think this will be just an easy fight. Now, that said, we do still have several other Pokemon that we're going to talk about here. And another just personal favorite Pokemon for me here is going to be Hydreigon. I love the Dragon types. Now, this one in particular is a special attacker, not a physical attacker. That's going to be slightly different from what we saw before. But I believe in this mon so much. You'll notice that just the standard Dark Tera is going to be enough. I am doing a Modest Mint, standard ability, nothing too crazy there with the Shell Bell item. Only 2 moves, I think, is more than enough with this mon to take this fight just to the next level. So, Nasty Plot, basically open up with Dark Pulse, do Dark Pulse 3 times once again so that you can actually Terastallize, then Nasty Plot 3 times, and then Dark Pulse your way to victory. You really don't need anything else. Those 2 moves alone will be more than enough to crush this event. Another Pokemon that I think has a really high probability of just destroying this event is Cleaver. In fact, you can also build a Scissor that is almost identical to this build right here. But Cleaver's a great mon. For some reason, I'm missing the Mint on him, but another Adamant Mint just to get the most offensive stat out of him. We didn't talk about IVs, but the yellow bar over there is obviously IVs. And so with the physical ones, I like going into physical attack and HP. For the special attackers, I like going into special attack and HP. You can go special attack and physical defense or attack and defense. I like HP just because it gives you more options after this raid for other raids and things like that that are coming. Does make you a little bit weaker, but with the Shell Bell, it's not going to. It will not matter at all. Now, ability Sheer Force here is the first time this really makes a big difference. Also, this is one of those mon I think is a little better with the Bug Tera instead of the Stellar Tera. So as much as I would, love to just say do Stellar Tera, I'd say Bug Tera is going to be better for you just from a defensive standpoint. So, Adamant Mint, Bug Tera, Sheer Force, item, Shell Bell, moves are going to be Sword Stance and X Scissor. Once again, do 3 X Scissors, get ready to Terastallize, Sword Stance 2 if not 3 times, and then X Scissor to victory. Shell Bell does all the healing. You should be fine. As long as he's level 100, there is very little that I think they can do to kind of stop you there. You got enough defense, enough offense. I think you'll be just fine. Now, next up is a personal favorite, and this one's really fun to run. Malamar, another physical Pokemon. Once again, I put all my stats in HP and physical attack with an Adamant Mint. This one, I really do feel like you want a Stellar Tera. With Malamar and a Stellar Tera, Iron Leaves can barely touch you. There's like nothing he can do that's really going to be able to hurt you. Megahorn will not feel great, but it's not a world-ending situation by any stretch of the imagination. Now, you need the contrary ability here for this build, but this build is super fun. Run the contrary ability, item Shell Bell for the healing. In fact, funny enough, I did this earlier just Superpower without a Shell Bell and still managed to beat him with a level 100 Malamar. That said, Superpower is resisted on Iron Leaves, and I think I got really lucky on the run. But here's the deal. Superpower will lower your attack normally, but with the contrary ability, it will actually raise your attack. So get off 3 Superpowers, Terastallize, and Throat Chop the rest of the way, and you will destroy this event. Hands down, absolutely my favorite for this event. I don't think there's anything out there that's even close, if I'm totally honest. I think Malamar is just a no-brainer for this. But, as with yesterday, if you need a Pokemon that can just do both raids, Iron Leaves, Walking Wake, can just annihilate both of them, no questions asked. Meowscarada is a great option. Once again, we are going with a... I know Meowscarada is more of a physical attacker, but Meowscarada doesn't have access to Swords Dance, which is weird. But she does have access to Nasty Plot. So you can build a special attacking Meowscarada. Now, my IVs over here are a little bit wrong. They're a little bit backwards. She is higher in her physical attack than special attack, but once you get out one Nasty Plot, that totally changes. So trust me here. Modest Mint, which you can change after the fact. You don't have. She's not stuck just being a special attacker. You do want a Stellar Tera, though. If you're going to take on both events with one Mon, Stellar Tera all the way. You got to have that. I like the ability Overgrow. It doesn't help us on this raid, but it will help us with Walking Wake. Item Shell Bell, which we've already talked about quite a bit. Basically, you'll be able to heal at every turn. Then our moves are Nasty Plot, Dark Pulse, and Giga Drain. Essentially, you can open up with attacking Iron Leaves with 3 Giga Drains, Nasty Plot 2, if not 3 times, Dark Pulse your way to victory. However, Walking Wake the other way around. Dark Pulse 3 times, Nasty Plot 3 times, Giga Drain your way to victory. Super easy, super straightforward. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, post them in the comments there. I didn't talk about EVs once again, but once again, I think it's pretty obvious. EVs and special attack and HP. These Pokemon will annihilate this. Good luck to you guys. If you want to see more builds, let me know in the comments, and I'll be back with more coming up really soon.